But the real you is 100% loving and kind and generous and, and it has peace, and unity and loves people. Like all of that, the best of you that you've seen in your life before addiction is still all of you. It's just the addiction's distorted it, and I remember have you seen the new Mad Max movie
Yeah,
where
yeah.
yeah,
Furiosa.
those are crazy. Yeah. All of them are always crazy, but it's like the guys and they're, in the motorcycles but that whole movie just
Witness.
reminds me of addiction. Yeah. It's just
Absolutely,
this,
yeah.
that, the Mad Max movies are just living the
Yeah,
life of addiction. I'm trying to
because
survive, go to my
because
next
it's
thing.
survival. Because it's
Yeah.
pure survival. Absolutely.
hmm And I need to get this to overcome this. And then if I can get the oil, then I can do this. And it's just a bunch of addicts like fighting. And that's what it reminded me of. And that's a life that is not real. Real reality is you're one with everything. That's the
Yeah.
true reality. And the true reality, your true nature and who you are is perfect love. And that sounds so crazy, but it's true. Like that's true reality. That it's perfect love. Jesus talked about that over and over and over again. That was the life that he lived, is to show us as an example of what true unity, true love, true compassion, true understanding, all of those things is what he demonstrated in this world. And we have a book that we can read. So I think taking the time there's a lot of addiction books that are out there that you can read, or in listening, to
Yeah.
podcasts like this one, going through our podcast and listening to them. But then also taking like the book of John in the New Testament. And just, that's a very simple book to understand. You don't have to be a theologian or any of those things. And you can understand the book of John and just read Jesus, focus when Jesus talks. They even have a Bible, it's called the Red Letter Editions. And you
Yeah.
can get it at Goodwill or whatever for like $2. There's Bibles everywhere. And the red letters are when Jesus talked. And if you can get those moments and understand those, what Jesus was saying, those are transformative. That's the best you. Jesus is your higher
Absolutely.
self, if
Absolutely.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
That version of you, Olivia, is down there. It's
Mhm.
down in here. And when you start doing that work, you start pulling those layers of hurt off, and
Mhm.
you will get to know the real you.
Maybe it's walk into, and you've done this when you did this in your addiction. Maybe it's walk into and just do a confession,
Absolutely.
but just experience God. That's a form of God. Each church is just a different reflection of God. It's the best of humanity. Like it's when you go to Rome, like you were just there.
Yeah. It was
I've
so
been there
beautiful, bro.
and you walk into you see this beautiful art and these things. This is this higher self.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't make a commitment to a meeting, but you can go to a confession. It's free. You just walk in, have a conversation, and admitting your sins. That's a big thing. The Pharisees in the Bible couldn't admit, the religious couldn't admit. They were too proud to admit their sins. They just
Yeah.
wanted to create judgment on everyone else. So confession's powerful. I don't know if you're Catholic or not, or maybe just showing up to a church service, if you're Protestant, whatever it is. But those are like Dwayne said, those little things that you can do that creates that will slowly begin to transform you. Having prayer, letting that music move you in the church, having those are all higher self things. And that'll bring that up that level of, having that regret because you're longing for your lost self.
Yes.
You feel
Yes. For
like
those
you've lost
dreams,
it,
the
but it's not. It's
ambitions.
there. So you just have to bring it. You have to bring it out. So doing higher self things that are easy and attainable, like a confession, like going to church, like going to a meeting, like Dwayne said, making your bed, doing those things are all higher self things that lost self will start to shine through again.
Yes. Get into the woods. Get into the woods. They make cathedrals and churches look like
Yes.
forests for a reason. Like there are pillars that are trees and light shining into these beautiful windows. And it's like, that's a representation of the forest. If you're
Mm.
afraid to go to mass, get into the wilderness and start tapping into the sacredness that's all around you.
So good. And this is interesting because this person spells their name the same as your girlfriend. But I thought this was a good one, Dwayne.